Are international students in Canada allowed to do business? Please, is a 16-month master's course counted as a 2-year program? There is a market for it in all provinces. Is it possible to do both PNP and Express Entry at the same time? Were you asked to provide your official transcripts? I am currently in the public administration field and I am grateful for that. Please, what is your take on international students studying BSc nursing in Canada? If there are job opportunities, there are a lot. And trust me guys, like there are a lot. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Yemisi, and if you're stopping by for the very first time, you're very welcome. On this channel I create lifestyle videos, I create immigration content, how to settle in as an international student, as a permanent resident, or just helping you to ease into Canada as an immigrant. So if these are the kind of contents that you love to see, please consider subscribing and join the family. So you guys, I know that some of you will come for my head. See, I can assure you that it wasn't intentional. 2 months ago, I asked you guys to drop some questions that I was going to film a Q&A for you guys. Y'all came true for sure. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get to it. So in this particular video, I'm going to be answering all those questions. Hopefully we're able to fit everything in this video, but if we don't, then I will have sort of like a part 2. I can see a couple of questions here. Some of them I answered immediately. Most of the questions, they are questions that people have been asking time and time again. I feel like they're frequently asked questions from people that intend to come to Canada to study or to settle in. So let us go to the first question. I'm not going to be calling names. I'll just go straight to the point. Hi Yemisi, hope you're doing great. I am. Thank you so much. Congratulations on finishing your master's. Thank you. I'm a lawyer in Nigeria, considering doing my master's in public administration in Canada and having a career switch. Yes, sir. I'd like to know if you're presently working in public administration. If yes, what's the career prospect like in Canada? I'd love if you can do a dedicated video to explain properly if possible. Thank you in advance. This question is actually packed. I feel like I would be doing a video in the future, you know, talking about my journey as a student and also in the workforce currently in Canada. And yes, I also had a career switch. I have a video on my channel where I explained how I got my visa approved after it was rejected. I explained that my BSc undergraduate degree was in business administration and I was coming to study masters in public administration. So yes, that was a career switch for me. The career prospect in Canada for public administration, I would say there is a huge market for it, although it's not, you know, as popular as the tech jobs, the business analyst jobs, you know, medical healthcare jobs and the likes, but I can assure you that there is a huge market for public administrators in Canada. Every province needs bureaucrats, you know, people to help them to develop policy, like people behind the elected. You know, I don't want to go deep down into like public policy and all of that, but there are people behind the elected officials that citizens have elected into power that does all the administrative and the paperwork behind the scenes. So yeah, something like that. I am currently in the public administration field and I am grateful for that. Unfortunately, I won't be able to like do a dedicated video for now, but for sure in the future I will when I feel more comfortable to do that video. But yes, there is a huge career prospect in Canada, and the good thing about the course is it's not restricted to any province. If you've been following my videos for a while, you know that I was living with a couple of friends. Everyone is in like different cities and of course provinces now. That's to tell you that there is a market for it in all provinces, because of course the public policy field is always growing and policies keep changing, and you just need people to help you do like all of those background work. So that's how I am going to answer this question, and I hope that I answered it to your satisfaction. The second question is, hi Yemisi, what are the job opportunities like for someone that studied public administration in Canada? Is there a career progression to the course? I just answered the question. That's like similar to the first question that I answered. This person is asking if there's a career progression. For sure, like there is a career progression if you take the course. One thing about my school is that there's an internship opportunity that even helps you to integrate faster into the public service space, and of course you kind of like have a smooth transition into like the real world of public policy. If there are job opportunities, there are a lot, and trust me guys, like there are a lot. I'm going to explain a lot for you in the future, but one thing I want you to know is that when I got into like the public administration phase, like government, like ministries and the likes, I realized that everything is not actually core policy. So if you're the type that feels like I don't want to come to study public administration because I don't really think I find policy work interesting, I can tell you for sure that it's still something for you to explore, because there are different arms of public administration. There is the project arm where they're constantly redesigning programs and all of that. There are arms where you are designing policies and the likes, and there are also the delivery space. So depending on the ministry that you find yourself, you might not even be writing anything related to policy, like core policy work in like 10 years of your career. Yeah, so that answers your question. The third one that I have here is congratulations on the completion of your master's. Thank you so much. Just so that this video is not too long, I will skip all the congratulations, but trust me guys, I appreciate each and every one of you. Please, what is your take on international students studying BSc nursing in Canada? Are there more advantage for them getting PR and then citizenship? Are there more advantage? No. If you come in as a BSc, like as an undergrad, if you come in as a graduate student, you pretty much have the same pathway, the same route, you know, whatever is happening in that province. For example, in Saskatchewan, you can either go through the provincial nomination route. There's an international graduate stream in the Saskatchewan provincial nomination route, and there's also the federal skilled workers program. So there's really no advantage, to be honest, because if you come in with your BSc already done, you still evaluate your certificate through WES, and they still pretty much recognize your BSc. And when you finish your masters, you just go into the pool. There's really no advantage of getting PR or citizenship. Nah. My take on international students studying BSc nursing in Canada: why not? If not, I don't know so much about that field, but I know sometimes they tell you to go through like 1 year preliminary course for it. I don't know if it's standard in all universities, but I know that people do that for studying BSc nursing. And I also know you have to be ready for the task ahead, period. Hi Yemisi, please, hope you're good. Please, my friends and I would like a video about your lessons learned in Canada so far, your highs and lows and your regrets, and whether your move to study was worth it. Will you encourage your younger self to make this decision again? I pretty much answered the person. Yes, I would 100% encourage everyone to make that decision. Well, I mean, I will encourage everyone, but I will not force anyone. I've done a video before with my friends talking about the lessons that we've learned, our regrets, our highs, our lows. So I'm gonna just leave that above for you guys, so make sure to watch it. The next question here: were you asked to provide your official transcript? Are you aware of any circumstance where the school may request an official transcript? I'm asking because my school isn't planning on releasing my unofficial transcript anytime soon, but I have all my grades from undergraduate. So this person is probably asking at the stage of admission. When I applied for admission at the University of Saskatchewan, by the way, if you're new on my channel, hi, my name is Yemisi, and I recently graduated from the University of Saskatchewan, where I studied my master's in public administration. And yeah, this is my little space on the internet. So when I was applying for my admission in the University of Saskatchewan, I needed just my unofficial transcript at the point of applying. But when you get your admission, then you have to send your official transcript, which will be sent directly by the school. I really don't know how it works in your school, but you just need your unofficial transcript at the point of getting admission. The next question here is: hi MC, please, what is your advice for someone coming to study civil engineering in Saskatchewan, and what are the opportunities of getting a job after graduating? Good question. I don't know so much about civil engineering or even engineering, but I have a friend that studied that's currently studying masters in chemical engineering, and I know that he does a lot of lab work. That's what I know. So I don't know if there's like a job prospect in Saskatchewan for civil engineering, but of course, like, there is no province that wouldn't need that kind of skill. A lot of engineering jobs are in Alberta, especially ones related to like oil and gas, mechanical, and so civil engineering might also be part of it. I don't know so much about engineering, by the way. I feel like, even though I tell people that make sure that the course that you're trying to get admission for must be lucrative, I don't mean it to say that it must be lucrative in the province that the school is in. What I used to tell people is it should be lucrative in Canada as a whole, because when you're done with school, you can always move. Like, it's not a rigid situation. Just that for some people, because probably age is not on their side and they cannot really go through the federal skilled workers program route, then they probably stay back in a province to maybe stay for like 6 months, 1 year, in order to qualify for the provincial nomination. So I get it from that point. However, if you're still very young, you don't really need to be thinking about the prospect in a province. It is for you to be thinking about the prospect in the country, because you can always move. So the next question that we have here, are international students in Canada allowed to do business? People ask me this question a lot of times. What I'm going to tell you point blank, and I mean, you can, a lot of people get advices here and there, but I can't tell you what will put you in trouble for sure. So what I'll tell you is that if you're an international student, refrain from doing business. What you should do is focus on things that will give you like 20 hours of work. The only thing I know though is that you can probably start a YouTube channel. Of course, that gives you like stipends here and there, but like proper business, I would say that you should make sure to not put yourself into any form of trouble. Anybody can provide a different advice, but that is my own candid advice. The next question. Good day, Miss Yemisi. How are you doing? I'm good, thank you. My question is, watching most of your videos, you've said students are allowed to work 20 hours per week, yeah? Now, how can you arrange that knowing you've got lessons in school? Very simple. When you're trying to apply for jobs, you would have filled like a form on their website and you would have told them you are a student. So when you're doing your interview with them, they already acknowledge that you're a student and would have probably told them at that point that you can only work for 20 hours because they already know. But it's also good to reiterate that. So it's pretty much having your schedule and ensuring that it does not affect your school schedule. This is how it's done. Of course, your school does not know that you have a job outside. So there is a standard timetable that you get from the beginning of the semester. All you now have to do is that you have to talk to your employer, your supervisor, like anybody you're working with, to try to align your timetable to fit into that schedule. Now, I'm going to be truthful or realistic with you to say it cannot always go that way. I can assure you that there were 1 or 2, 3 times that I had to not go to school because I needed to go to work to make money. But on those days, there wasn't an assignment to submit, there wasn't a test. It's not really like my home country where you can just come to class and they're like, oh, we're writing a test like now. So for me, it was easy to navigate because you already have modules, right? You already have your modules that you can read up on by yourself, and there is usually like textbooks that would have been attached, like links for you to go through, like in order for you to get like a wider knowledge of the particular module. And you can also reach out to your colleagues to ask what they've done. That's how it's done. Basically, it's not really a serious something, but when you get a job newly, you might not have that luxury to tell them the time that is convenient for you. But as you stay there longer, you are able to have that rapport with them to be able to ask them for flexible time periods so that it does not affect your time in school. I hope that I was able to answer that question, but it's not a big deal. It's not something that you should really worry yourself over. Hello, is there any student visa route, e.g. certificate, diploma or master's, that disallows spouse or children from relocating the same time while studying in Canada? No. The only thing that I know though is that if you're coming in as a student and you're coming for a program that is less than 8 months, then most likely they would not expect that you should bring in any family. Yeah, but if it's going to be like a program of like say 8 months and above, and you're coming in with your spouse and your family, okay, so let me just try to explain this. Nobody's going to tell you not to bring your family. A lot of time when people don't bring in their families because of finances and also home ties. So yeah, just look at it from that angle. Hi, Yemisi. My fiance is now a Canadian citizen, expecting her Canadian passport soon. She'll be coming home for marriage and she will be applying for spousal visa for me. I'd like to know if that's the best path to follow. I answered this person and I was like, this question doesn't seem complete. Best path to follow compared to which? The person said compared to applying for open work permit from here. So let me explain. If your fiancé here or fiancé is a Canadian citizen and you've never been part of like dependent or whatever, you have to apply for your permanent residence route. But then because you have that person there, if you guys are already married though, then you have that person there to be able to claim that you have someone in Canada. That's like what it is, and then you can go through the normal PR processing and whatever. I applied for my study permit and it has been approved, but during my application questionnaire, RCC asked if I'm coming with any family member and I said no. But after my approval, I intend to apply for my family members now. Won't my previous answer stand against the approval for them? I believe what you're trying to say is that, so when you got the approval, then you decided to invite your family, like apply for a spousal open work permit and also have your family members, like your children, over. It's not a problem. The answer is no. IRCC doesn't have a problem with that. When you came in, you decided that you wanted to invite your spouse. The only thing though is that you must have filled in their names as your family members at the point of applying. According to you, the only thing you said is that they are not going to accompany you at that moment. So when you now came in, then you decided to file for spousal open work permit. It's not a problem. How are you doing? Trust you're doing well. I wanted to ask you if you had any idea on what tuitions are like to study MBA in pharmacology in Canada schools. No, I don't. And I get a lot of these questions where people will ask me, can you please tell me the tuition fees for this and that? Maybe in the future, I'm going to do a video on like low tuition fees, you know, things related to tuition fees. But for now, whatever you want to know, I'll also be doing a research on it. So it means that if you go on different schools' websites, you're going to get the answers to your questions. It's just very funny when people ask me this because, to be honest, like, you are the one that really needs this thing. So you have to go through all the schools, search for the one that is quote and unquote cheaper to afford for you. I used to tell people this, and I don't know, like, if you want to come to Canada, you have to take it like a daily job. Get a book, list out different schools, like go to online and say A to Z list of schools in Canada. You'll get a lot, and then start checking everything. Oh, pharmacology, right? Go into each links for each schools and check for their tuition fees. You are going to see a lot of those information there. So yeah, you don't really need anyone to do that for you. And sorry, I don't know. Even for my own program, if you ask me now, I don't have an answer. Almost every semester, my school increases their tuition fees. So I really don't know, except I check the website, which is also accessible for you. Hello, ma'am. Please, is a 16 months master's course counted as a 2 years program? Thank you. I answered this person from the IRCC website. It says you should be eligible for 1 month of PGWP for every month of your program of study. Exception is if your program has no summer breaks and was considered by the university to be a minimum of 16 continuous months, you should be able to qualify for a 3-year postgraduate work permit. So what that means is that if that 16 months program, because it's less than 2 years, right? But if that 16 months program is considered by your school as a continuous program without any summer breaks, then you'll be eligible for a 3 years postgraduate work permit. And I've also seen someone share something like the person wrote a letter of explanation explaining why, even though the program is supposed to be for 2 years, she finished it in 16 months or 18 months, and the person also got a 3 years postgraduate work permit. So I think everything is based on explanation. Hello sis, once again congratulations. Please, my question is, can I change my naira to CAD through bureau de change when I arrive Canada as an international? So what would you advise? I'll advise that you should change it before coming to the country. The only foreign currency that is recognized across the world is USD. So change your money to USD, then bring it down here to convert to CAD. That would be my best advice for you. I'd like to know how deferring of admission works over there. I heard if I don't have my tuition fee, I can still apply. Then once I get there, I can defer the admission to work for a while. Please, I need more light on that. Sorry, I don't have that kind of advice. What I know is that because you're on student visa, if you come in here, you cannot just defer immediately. The normal protocol is for you to start classes. And if you are deferring, you write to the school that you are deferring. Please, I'd like to know if the work restriction for international students will affect someone that has an online job, like work from home kind of job. I've answered this question already. So the thing is, you have a 20 hours work restriction. Stick to it. Like, stick to it, guys. And I'm saying stick to it because I know that you don't want to be a scapegoat when, you know, you're caught, and like, still stick to it. I personally feel like if you're in a foreign land, just follow the protocol. Like, yeah, don't try to beat the system. That's my advice. Hi Yemisi, please, what are the job opportunities like healthcare administration and medical laboratory? There are a lot of, one thing I know for sure though is that right now there is so much appetite, so much need for people working in the healthcare field. Like, name it, whatever profession, just, we need you. Canada needs you is what I'm going to say. So just come. I was just wondering, I see a lot of YouTubers go for driving tests and also buying themselves a car while still studying. I don't think I've come across any of such video from your channel. However, I know it's a personal decision, but please, I'd like to know why you haven't gone for a driving test and why haven't you got yourself a car. That's a personal decision. Like you said, a lot of people have been doing it. So if I'm not doing it, it's because it's my own decision. If you don't already know, students can get a car in Canada when they land, and I've done numerous videos about this where I tell people when you come in as a student, you can still drive with your international driver's license till the end of your study permits. So I believe that's all you should know, that when you come in as a student, you can get a car. Also, I'd like to know the pros and cons of having to go for a driving test and getting a personal car while still studying as an international. There's no pro, there's no con. I don't really understand this question though, like pros and cons of doing a driving test. There's no pro, there's no con. I really don't understand the question. Good afternoon, ma. So my question is, I studied mass comm in Lagos State Polytechnic, and now I want to study business administration in university in Canada. Please, do you advise that I go as a fresh undergraduate or apply as a transfer student, because I'm having issues getting my transcript from school? So I just want to ask if there won't be any problem if I apply as a fresh undergraduate rather than as a transfer student. I don't really understand your question, because transfer students, that I understand, is if you are currently still studying. For example, you're in like 200 level, 300 level, and you're trying to complete your education here, but you already said you studied mass comm. So what you're insinuating here is that you are pretty much done with school, but then you want to come in as undergraduate student. What I would say though is that if you want to study business administration, just go on the school. There are so many schools in Canada, right? I'll personally say that you should check schools that are providing business administration as a program, and then try to check the academic requirement, because that's only how you will know whether you qualify for the program or not. And I'm saying this because back home in Nigeria, I know that for Polytechnic, you have to do like OND and then HND. So I don't know what point you are at. If you've not finished your HND, you cannot be evaluated as someone that has a BSc, something like that. So most likely it's just like doing OND, ordinary diploma, and then it means that you have to now come to do your undergraduate or a certification program or a postgraduate diploma. These are like the programs that you would have to go for, but this question doesn't really feel complete. So can you put us through on medical for students and their dependent family in Saskatchewan province? So I told the person to elaborate because the question was not clear. I asked if it was medical for study visa application. The person said yes, but I still didn't understand, like, is it for medicals if you're coming into the country, or for medicals when you are in the country? And person said, I mean, how do new students that is just coming to Canada with kids get medical care for their dependent? Does the school fees cover medical for students and their dependents? If not covered, are we to pay each time our dependents want to access medical facilities, or how does this play out? Basically, what you do is when you're registering for your medicals, because of course you have to register for medical, you pay a sum for that. You have to include that you have dependents, so I'm sure that they will give you extra charges that covers them. So yeah, that's pretty much how it works. So medical insurance, for sure you have to pay for your dependents aside yourself. Please, what's the job market like for clinical physiologists in Canada? Like I said earlier, I don't really have an answer, like say these are the kind of jobs you can get, but I know that there is a huge demand, a high demand for people in the healthcare field. One thing I know for sure is that Alberta launched in February, I believe, a pathway for nurses in their province. So there's been a lot of people applying to that, and the process has been pretty much fast, in my opinion. So that's what you want to try to explore. Please, I studied microbiology. Can I go for early child education course in Canada? All you have to do is to check to ensure that your undergraduate degree in microbiology fits into that early childhood education program, because of course they will have their own requirements, like what you should have, you know, before you can apply. And a lot of time I see that people go back for BSc. I'm not too sure, but it's something that you want to try and find out. How are you doing? I'm studying nursing currently in Cyprus, and I want to transfer to Canada. My grades are good, like good. I'll be in my third year by September, so I want to know if it's possible for me to transfer to a school in Canada, and will I be asked to start afresh, or they'll remove the years I've studied? I know I'm meant to ask the school, but I just want to be sure before applying. If you know anyone who has done something, I don't know anyone who has done something like this, but I know that people transfer, and I don't think that you would start all over again. If for example you were in, like you said, you're in your third year and you want to come down here, they will check if you have done some courses that they've already done here, maybe in your 100 level and 20 level. So more like they will evaluate some of the courses that you've taken and see if there are additional ones you need to take. They will just add it to the year you'll be joining. So for example, if they feel like you can only join them in your third year here, then they will give you some of the courses you've not taken your first and second year. They'll tell you to include it in your third year, and then maybe if you've taken some courses, they will just exempt you from those courses. I think that's pretty much how they do it. Hello Yemisi, please, I just got admitted but would like to defer till January. How were you able to do yours, and what was the reason? I have a video on that. I explained how I was able to defer my admission, how I reached out to the school and whatnot. So it's really not a problem. In my school and in my department, we could defer from September to January, but we could not defer from January to September, and I will explain to you. So September to December, January to April is one session, then the following September. So it means that from September to the next April is one session. So you can defer from September to January semester, but you cannot defer from January to the following September, because that is going into another session. So that's how it is in my department. Is gun violence also a thing in Canada? I'll say no. We thank God there's nothing like that. I'm grateful for that that because that's like a very scary thing for me. How is social work program like? Are there jobs in demand for it? Yes, there's a huge demand for social work in Canada. There's a market for it in every province. More internal question. This person is a goofball on my channel. More internal question. Anyway, what primary school and secondary school did you go in Nigeria? Where did you grow up from? I grew up in Lagos. Or maybe Ogun State. Anyway, that's it. The next question. Hi, Miss Yemisi. You look so beautiful and gorgeous. Thank you. Please, how does the PNP and express entry work? Is it possible to do it when you're in Canada? And is it possible to do both PNP and express entry both at the same time? Yes. The question is PNP and express entry. PNP is basically provincial nomination program. For example, Saskatchewan, I'll just go through the Saskatchewan provincial nomination program and then I'll have to submit documents to the province to nominate me. Then I go ahead to the express entry profile to include that I've been nominated, which gives you automatic 600 points in addition to other factors like your age, your work experience, your level of education, and whether you worked in Canada and all of that. So all those points in addition to the 600, and of course, yeah, about 900 to 1000 plus. So that's how the provincial nomination work. For the express entry, we have 3 types. We have the Canadian experience class, we have the federal skilled workers program, which is like the very popular one, and we have the federal skilled trade program. I would advise that you should go on the cic.ca website to read on this and you'll get a better understanding. Your last question, is it possible to do both PNP and express entry at the same time? I would say yes. You can open an express entry profile and while you are still active, you apply for nominations. So it's not a problem at all. Hi Yemisi, and this is the last question. Hi Yemisi, my school starts in September and I'm yet to apply for visa because I paid my fees through Form A and my receipt is not out, which I'm supposed to use to apply for a visa. My question is, how long does it take for visa to be out? And if I start my application by June, will it be late for me to arrive in December? A lot of people ask me this question. How long does it take for my visa application to be approved, for me to get a decision basically on my visa application? I wish that I could give you the answer. I feel like a lot of study visa applications have been answered pretty quickly. However, if you haven't still gotten it by now, raise web forms. I'm going to advise you straight up, raise web forms. How to raise web forms, Google it. You're going to see all of that because I don't want this video to be too long, but for sure just go online, Google how to raise web forms for Canada visa application, and you'll see tons of videos that helps you on how to do that. Or even on the cic.ca website, you'll see all those information there. So I hope that I've answered all of your questions, and once again, I'm so sorry for missing this important session out of my videos. Oh gosh, it's been an overwhelming period for me. I'm just trying to like take things one step at a time. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have other questions, let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video because it helps the algorithm. Also share it to prospective immigrants, especially those studying, because I feel like this video is a lot of study visa related questions. And of course, hit the subscribe button so that you join the family, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.